who do you think will join Max after not after the end of next year? Because we already confirmed Perez for another year. I
Okay.
think Charles' contract might expire by those two
Woohoo!
years.
Imagine.
And then
Oh
when
my
Lewis moves
lord.
out, then you bring Lando, and then you have Lando and George
That
versus
would be sick.
Charles and Max. Oh my God.
That would
Okay.
be sick. That would be sick.
Quote me. Quote me. Five
Yeah,
years. We'll
we'll
see where we
we'll
are.
save that clip for in 3 years' time. Yeah. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the front office report. I'm joined by my friend and yours, Gabriel. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, bien. ¿Y tú?
Yes, I'm good. Right, we are coming back with you to have a little bit of chat about Formula One. Now, there's been quite a lot going on over the past week, so we're going to recap some of that. We will start though with the sprint race for Monza, which has just happened. We had qualifying yesterday, which showed the Red Bulls are not very quick potentially, and Bottas taking pole for the sprint race. Sprint race has just happened. Bottas has maintained his pole, but our boy, mine and Gabbo's boy, Lewis Hamilton, who had a very strong qualifying, dropped a few places, finished in 5th. Max Verstappen has taken 2nd for tomorrow's start. I mean, just on the outlook for sort of Lewis versus Max, what are your thoughts there, my friend?
Yeah. I mean, so first of all, if I were to curse in this show,
Which, of course, we don't do that.
yeah. Bottas, man. Like, what now? Now that you don't have any pressure, now you decide to show up. Like, oh my God.
It is interesting that he's pulled this pole out just
Yeah.
as he has announced to be going to Alfa Romeo.
Yeah. I mean, fair note though, for those watching that don't know, get ready for tomorrow. He is starting last in the grid because of a power unit change. So sadly, it won't count in the stats for him. But it is, like as you said, for us Merc fans, it's reassuring that at least the pace is there. Lewis had a horrible start.
Terrible start. I don't know, I
Horrible.
think he just wheel spin like mad off the line.
I felt like he like panicked. Like he saw like a car on his left, and then he saw Lando Norris on his right, and he's like, I don't know who to cover, and then he ended up like not covering either. So no, it was an interesting sprint race. Obviously, I feel I already told my friends tomorrow is a Max Verstappen win, unless
You think so?
unless the car dies. Yeah, absolutely. Because Hamilton's gonna have to overpass Norris and Ricardo, which is doable. But by the time he does, I think
how far away will the top two be? I mean, actually, no. I was going to say actually top two. I'm forgetting myself that Bottas is starting in last. He can't even help. Yeah. I mean, the only saving grace that Hamilton potentially has, his little bit of hope, is that Mercedes have looked very quick, but so have McLaren. Unfortunately, that's sort of the big issue with him being behind both Ricciardo and Lando Norris. Just to pause there, actually, kudos to Daniel Ricciardo, who is, I think, taking his first front row start since 2018. I think they were saying on the commentary.
Like I mean, how cool is it? But it's Max versus Ricardo. What a throwback!
Yeah, it's true. That's throwback Saturday, throwback Sunday even. Yeah. No, I just think I don't ever want to count Lewis out because he is the GOAT. I'm saying that. I still say
we have no one here to say no.
No one's going to disagree with us. So yeah, he's the GOAT. And you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you look at Monza 1 year ago, Pierre Gasly comes out and wins the race. Anything can happen in a Formula One race. You have
and now he spins
one crash, and then he spins out.
Not really. Spoiler, like the front spoiler.
Yeah, so I think that was some of that action sort of on the first lap. It looked as though he had a bit of contact with Lando Norris. It must have dislodged the wing, and then he was coming around that sweeping bend, flew off into the gravel trap. Literally, just see ya.
Like no turn.
Absolutely not. So Pierre Gasly, who has been having a really strong season, unfortunately, he will be joining Valtteri Bottas at the back of the grid. Aside from that, other sort of positions of note, Giovinazzi maintained an 8th spot. He's another one.
Well, he's going to start 7th.
He's going to start 7th. That's very true. Crazy. I keep forgetting that. Yeah. Another one that since there's been question marks about who's taking that 2nd seat in the Alfa Romeo, he seems to have suddenly found out, okay, I can drive an F1 car. He's like, had some solid results.
Bottas is coming. Bottas is coming.
Yeah.
Which is a nice segue.
Very nice segue. Actually, yes. Let's move on to that, because the biggest news from this week, the worst kept secret in Formula One.
Yeah.
George Russell has finally been confirmed that he is moving across to Mercedes, with Valtteri Bottas going to Alfa Romeo. Now, first thoughts, Gabo. What do you think about this move, or this pair of moves as such?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, league's worst kept secret. I don't know why I called it a league, but whatever. But yeah, I think it was bound to happen. I think it's good for. I don't really care about how it does for Alfa Romeo, but I think it's a great move for Mercedes. Obviously, I heard you were mentioning that Lewis wasn't too happy about it. Oh, big whoop! Now you have
well, I mean, according to some fairly I don't know
unreliable
how you
sources.
Yeah, unreliable sources in the
Okay,
UK. Yes, let's go with that. Yes,
fair enough. I mean, as an spectator, I would love a throwback to Nico Rosberg Hamilton days. And I do think that George has what it takes. I know we're talking about one of our buddies there that said he didn't, that he needed some experience. I think he's had more than more experience. I think he's way more composed than a lot of the drivers in the grid there. So I think he's gonna come out swinging. I really, really, really love the move. I'm hesitating because I know. I said it. He's the future of Formula One. Like, this is the guy that's gonna.
You look at, I mean, yeah, you him, Max, Charles, Lando. They are the future of F1 right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have them all in top cars now. You have in exactly Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari.
They each have a team. Yeah, like
that's
sick,
crazy.
Sick. Yeah,
like they're finally up there. So this is the future of Formula One, and I don't know. I mean, I'm a Lewis Hamilton fanboy all the way. But I don't know if I'm gonna be a George Russell fanboy more now.
I was actually thinking about this the other day, because I'm almost more excited for next season now. Like, I genuinely think I might just have to. I'm just a George Russell then Lewis fan now. Like,
yeah, I mean, especially for you, you're as a British fan.
Two Brits, yeah. Oh, it's great, so good. I just cannot wait for a full season of George in that car. Like, I honestly think. Fantastic move for him. As you say, it was the worst kept secret. Everyone knew it was going to happen. But some of the things he's done in that Williams, and I know it was a small sample size, but I bring it up time and time again. That race that he had in Qatar when Lewis had COVID, when realistically he should have won the race if Mercedes didn't mess up with the tires. Yep. He has shown, as you said, he's got the composure. He took it to Bottas in that race, and he should have won. I honestly think Lewis is going to have his hands full. And
the thing is, George has nothing, like, apart from maybe today, where he is like the first time in a long time that he ends, or like very minimal times where he finishes behind his teammate.
But I think there's only been once or twice he's been out qualified in his whole career.
Exactly. So it's like, what negative do you have for him? And like you said it yourself, he had an opportunity to step up in Mercedes, and he delivered. Like, the pit didn't deliver; it wasn't him. No. He delivered. He didn't step the foot down. Like, he went there, and people keep saying like, oh, it's once in a time as well. It's all rain, but like his second position at in the last that spot, like,
you can't ignore that. I mean, okay, yes, the race didn't really happen, but there were 19 other drivers that could have been in exactly the position that he put himself in. Okay, apart from Verstappen, who finished first, but 18 other drivers that could have put themselves in that position, and they didn't.
Yeah,
no, for one reason or another, they didn't.
Yeah, Max beat him by less than a second, like, maybe less than even tenths of a second. He beat Hamilton by like a second and a half. So it's the car still, like, obviously the car is still the car, so it's still gonna deliver poorly compared to a Mercedes, no matter if it's dry or wet. Sure, you have a bit more chances in the wet because just poor grip and just poor control, and someone spins out and it's like, oh, now I can overtake. But it's still a massive achievement for him to make it to second position.
Hugely so. And again, look at that Williams, realistically speaking, is the second slowest car on the grid. The amount of times that he's put it into Q2, into Q1 now, like, he is a big, big talent. Like, this guy, I say this with my chest multiple times, he is going to be a world champion.
Yeah.
I would put money on that. Yeah, I genuinely could see that. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I feel like out of the four that you mentioned, I feel like
that's a good question. Rank those four in likelihood to win a driver's world title. So Lando,
obviously
Charles,
Max is up there.
George, yeah.
He's like super close to do it. But after Max, like it's gonna have to be George Russell. Like to me, I mean, I do think Mercedes will still dominate. Next year especially. So I feel like if Max doesn't win this year, I don't think he'll ever win. Because after that, this is like a massive like.
I mean, that's a big
call. But and obviously I'm a big Lewis Hamilton lover and Max Verstappen hater. Which, by the way, I have grown closer and closer to Max. It's just back in the day, the whole Ricardo and Max Verstappen, I never really liked his attitude.
I still don't really like Max.
But yeah, no, I really, really, really think if he doesn't win this year, then next year is like he's up against Hamilton and George Russell, on a much empowered, much improved Mercedes car, with all the new changes. So I really want I really don't want Max to win this year for that reason, and then just let George do it. So, but I mean, probability wise, obviously Max is the most probable to win because he's like here, he can take it.
Good potential to do it. Yeah.
George and then George would be much closer unless the Ferraris and McLarens like step up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. If you were posed that question 2 years ago, I think it would be still Max. I think Max would still be 1. But you'd probably say Charles Leclerc would be 2.
3 years ago, because 2 years ago, the Ferrari car
2 years ago, I said, 2 years ago. Yeah, I think he would be clearly number 2. And then George and Lando, you could probably much of a muchness.
And you're like still like 3 years ago, you're still assuming, hey, will George and then Mercedes?
Yeah,
nothing,
And I think if you look at it now, I agree. I think Max has to be 1. I think Charles potentially, if we look at the car right now, potentially is 4, which I think is wild. I think McLaren at present look stronger as a team than Ferrari. They seem to have a more powerful car. It seems to be working more consistently. So I think you potentially put then Lando 3, and I think George in that Mercedes.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. Oh man, it almost has sort of, I think, taken a little bit of a shine off this season's battle of Lewis versus Max. But
that happened way earlier when Toto Wolff was like, yeah, we're not competing, we're changing for the next car.
That's true. And the fact that Lewis has managed to, I mean, that is absolute rubbish. But the fact that he's still kept it close. Again, go. I do disagree with you, though, that if Max doesn't win it this year, that's his only chance. I don't think that's the case, to be honest.
Well, yeah, no, I think, you're absolutely right.
I think he'll have at least one more chance, maybe.
How old is he? 26, 27?
Well, I wouldn't even. I don't even think that old. No, I honestly, I mean, he's younger than me, I think. 20. He's 23 years old. That's a disgrace.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Lewis has 36, so like by that logic, Max is going to be around for 10 years. So if he doesn't land 1 in 10 years, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's likely, yes, but
I take it back.
I mean, it's going to be with those 4, like we said, Formula 1 is in fantastic hands, really, really good hands.
Yeah.
I think we've got some great veterans alongside that. You look at your Ricardos, your Carlos Sainz, your Perez, your Vettels. I mean, okay, Vettel, Hamilton, how much longer they're going to go on for, I don't know. But I think the blend across, I mean, we haven't even talked about Yuki Tsunoda, another young driver who's shown some promise this year here and there. Ocon has had some good results. I just think that the field of drivers that we have at the minute, that's hella good, man. Hella good.
Who do you think will join Max after not after the end of next year? Because we already confirmed Perez for another year.
That's a very good question. I think it depends on almost.
Do you think it would be Pierre Gasly from it is the Toro Rosso or the AlphaTauri, or I think maybe this is me putting my head out there, but I think Charles' contract might expire by those 2 years.
Imagine.
So if Ferrari don't get up there,
yeah.
I don't see how Red Bull don't poach, and I don't see how Charles says no.
Imagine that team of Charles and Max.
And then when Lewis moves out, then you bring Lando, and then you have Lando and George.
That would be sick.
Charles and Max. Oh my god.
That would be sick. That would be sick.
Quote me.
We'll save that clip for in 3 years' time. Yeah. I mean, that'd be incredible. I don't think Red Bull will bring Gasly back. I honestly don't. I think that they want to almost save face. They had him once. He didn't perform up to their standard. They sent him away again. And I mean, look, he's really given them a bit of a middle finger with some of the performances he's putting in what is okay. That AlphaTauri is much improved, but it's still probably the 4th or 5th best car, and he's consistently putting it top 6.
So this is where my belief in this is where most of my belief in George Russell comes out of. So there's a big difference in confidence when you're in a lower car than when you are put in that spot at the top car. So Pierre, like you said, Pierre, Albon as well, they both had chances in the Red Bull, and they both never delivered. Never.
Yep.
And you can see, like, I mean, obviously the whole Netflix show, like, there've been comments about how it's not really real, like in the sense of like the drivers are like they portray it so completely different. But you can tell, I mean, at least I did, like, Albon and Pierre were never fully confident there. And as soon as you go there and then you step back, the confidence goes up. So it's like, okay, cool. You're showing me that. It's the same thing with Bottas.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Bottas. Once you don't have anything to lose, that's where you show up.
You probably relax the drive. You let the race come to you. Yeah.
Exactly. And then George, on the other hand, he got that chance and he took it. Like, again, we talked about it, and it was all a pitch change. But I think he's got the cojones to do it, unlike the rest of these people that we're talking about.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
I mean, good for him. He's back.
Oh yeah, we should probably mention that actually. Yeah, so Albon is back. He'll be going to George's vacated spot in the Williams. I mean, Nicholas Latifi, I'm not really. Albon, it's nice to see back. How much he can give in a Formula One car, I'm not sure. As much as it's nice to see another Brit in another Formula One car, the word that comes to mind is just hesitant. Like, there have been opportunities for him in the past, and I just feel, unlike a George Russell who has grabbed that opportunity by the horns and gone for it, I just don't feel he's quite done the same. Yeah. So I'm not too sure about that move, but let's see.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I think that's most of the moves set up. I only think there's a few seats left to finalize, but we'll report on those as we hear from them. Now we have the race tomorrow. You've said your prediction: Max Verstappen going to win. Yeah. Do you want to complete who's going to be on the podium with him? Do you see Ricciardo getting his first podium?
No, I was gonna say, like, knowing him, I love Ricciardo, honestly. Like, but I just have a gut feeling that something's gonna happen to that car. And I think Lando is gonna end podium with Hamilton either ahead or behind him.
Okay.
So I think it's gonna be Max. I'm gonna say Max, Hamilton, Lando.
Okay.
Ideally, Hamilton, Landon, Ricciardo, Gasly, Perez, Bottas, Giovinazzi,
Latifi, Leclerc,
Max DNF.
that would be good. My heart is saying that Lewis is going to pull something out the bag. My head is not quite agreeing. I think you're right. Verstappen probably does take this, unfortunately. I do think Ricciardo ends up on the podium, though. I have faith. I think he has been unlucky quite a lot this season. I think the luck is going to be with Danny tomorrow. So I'm going to say Danny Rick's on the podium, and I think Hamilton's joining him. Let's see. We can revisit. Thank you very much for joining me. We will wrap it up there. Let's keep fingers crossed. Let's pray for a nice, exciting race tomorrow. If we can get Hamilton back up for a little bit of a battle with Max, that'd be great. Otherwise, just as many points for Lewis.
Let's hope.
Let's pray. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. We will see you next time. Peace.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like hearing us ramble about sports, feel free to subscribe at the top right, check out the next videos on the left, and feel free to leave us a like at the bottom. Thank you guys for watching.